Hmm? Ah!
You're listening to the Run for Your Lives podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Daphne.
And I'm Pake.
And this is the Run for Your Lives podcast.
This episode, we will be talking about the supernatural horror comedy film Deadstream, written and directed by Vanessa and Joseph Winter, released October 6th, 2022.
Yes, this is an interesting one.
Yeah, I had never heard of this one until just a couple days ago. It's literally because, it was my week to kind of pick something to do, and I didn't know. And then I was like, you know what we haven't done in a while is just a goofy, comedy horror movie, in the vein of Tucker and Dale and Cooties and things like that, which we've had a lot of fun with some of those movies.
We have.
So I took to Reddit to try to find, okay, what's some little-known comedy horror movies that I just may be off my radar, and a lot of people on the thread that I found had a lot to say about this movie, so I was like, well, can Redditors ever be wrong? That is a hypothetical question, don't answer that. But yeah.
I think they can, technically.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I was like, so many people were recommending this one and talking about it. So it's like, okay, let me look into this and check it out. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Definitely what I was looking for. The horror was great. All practical effects, a lot of really great horror gags, some really cool, creepy setups and things, and interesting perspective and unique film style. And the comedy was there. I was busting up laughing so hard so many times about this movie. It's perfect, my humor, and so a lot of my notes are just quotes and certain things, because there's a lot of those pause the movie and be cackling laughing moments.
Yeah, there were definitely things that made me laugh in this movie. Usually it was the character of Sean screaming.
Yeah, his reactions.
Everything.
Everything.
It was a little over the top at times. It was crazy. But we will jump in the way that we always do with a few production notes. It was filmed in Spanish Fork, Utah. Joseph Winter, co-writer and co-director, is also the film's star and composed the music. In fact, this movie was pretty much a production with him and his wife taking up multiple roles. They didn't do the cinematography, but they did the editing. I mentioned he did the music. They were producers. This was their baby that they focused on.
Mm-hmm. Written, directed, and starred in by.
Exactly. Lots of things that they did in this one. The budget was $300,000, but it was released via Shudder, so there's no box office information. It's about 87 minutes long. Pake, give us a synopsis.
All right. A disgraced internet personality attempts to win back his followers by live streaming one night alone in a haunted house. But when he accidentally upsets a vengeful spirit, his big comeback event becomes a real-time fight for his life.
Yep, I think that sums it up real well.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those movies like Paranormal Activity or Grave Encounters that's using small cam, following someone around. You could end up seasick or with an upset stomach because of the jerkiness of the camera, but I think, that was fine. I do like watching videos of people exploring abandoned places. So at first I was like, oh, okay, let's see what this is about. There were things about it that made me laugh for sure. He wants to break one of the cardinal rules of Urban X, even though he's doing this for another reason. He's kind of acting like an urban explorer.
Mm-hmm.
he's like wanting to know how much things are and putting things in his bag he wants to take. And that's just kind of a rule that they have where they don't take anything out of the places they go into.
All of this is to make money. He's been banned from the internet for 6 whole months. So he's barely scraping by. He's practically homeless. He's gotta get his followers back, get his sponsors back, get his monetize. Man, that's a word I can't say. Monetization. That's the word. Yeah. But yeah, get his monetization. If I try to say it fast.
Pake, so he's been banned, so he needs to get his monetization back, get his follower counts up, all of that. I can say it. Why can't you?
Monetization.
There we go. You got it.
I think it was the long I that I was stuck on that really screwed me up. So Sean Ruddy, this annoying YouTuber whose series Wrath of Sean has him doing stupid stunts for attention and entertainment, and then there was this controversy about something that he did. They got him canceled, like I said, for a whole 6 months. Now he's back with a brand new energy drink sponsor and YouTube monetization reinstated, and his big stunt, yes, he's got to face his one more big fear. Ghosts. And
he's built this whole show around facing his fear.
Yeah.
Like every little thing he does is something that he was afraid of, and he has to face it, and he has these rules, and I love that his fans or subscribers or viewers try to hold him accountable to these rules that he's set.
Yeah.
That makes it more fun, because otherwise it wouldn't be as much fun, because he'd just run away probably.
Yeah. I said a lot of it is just the dialogue, or I say dialogue, it's one person talking to himself most of the movie, but a lot of the lines and stuff are so funny. So many good jokes and stuff to where, literally my first note, even before, like, okay, let me set the scene of who this was just one of the first jokes in the movie that was like, oh, that sets the tone for this. I'm on board 100% because that's my kind of humor. Was him setting up the, like, I don't like ghosts. I'm scared of ghosts. I don't like anything scary. And the line, I haven't seen a horror movie since the first half of Ghost Dad. What a line.
I was laughing at his constant attempts not to swear and being afraid that he was going to be demonetized or lose his sponsor.
Oh, shit. I mean, shoot.
Don't demonetize me, Livid. Or live vid. Like, they don't really... I'm not really sure. Livid. Is it like live video or live vid?
Yeah.
Live video?
Livid is how I was thinking it, but live vid, that makes sense. Which livid or live vid is the Twitch of this movie. And we're basically in this world. The movie is, at least at first it seems, like us watching his live stream. And then Livid or Livid, whatever, LIVVID.TV is a real website.
Oh, yes, it is. Look it up. I was hoping you would, because I did
It's just a picture of Sean's face, and it says, under construction, check back soon. Like, it's like a little, like...
That is not what I found when I went. Nope. Not at all, Pake.
You just type in livid.tv?
Uh-huh, and I'll show you. Okay. I'll share my screen, which our viewers can't see. So, look, I've typed in livid.tv. Hit enter. Let's see, look. Look at all that.
All the merch and stuff. That's interesting. Maybe it's just like the mobile version. I don't know if you can even...
I mean, look at this cool paranormal kit mug that's got salt and garlic and holy water. I mean... Beef cam.
So I looked it up on my phone, and my phone, it just says under construction. So I guess you got to go on a laptop, computer, to get all the cool stuff.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't want a sticker that says, I love beef cam? Just another little bit of charm from this film.
Beef cam.
Beef cam. There were multiple cams like that he did. You know, Chrissy cam.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was beef cam. I think that was outside.
He attached the GoPro to the Slim Jim and stuck it out the window.
Yes, that was the beef cam. Yeah.
It was beef cam.
See? He had different
so
things
funny.
for different. There was Mildred cam. Not Mildred cam. Mildred.
Yeah, he typed it too fast.
Yeah.
Because he has to name the cameras. He panicked. He couldn't. Yeah. Or maybe he meant like Mildred. Yeah, who knows?
I think he meant Mildred. Knowing this guy from what I witnessed from him, absolutely he meant Mildred. For sure.
But yeah, it was great. I was 2 minutes into the movie and I was like, I'm already loving the satire, tongue-in-cheek parody of modern YouTube scene. I was like, yeah, this is streamer. Kind of like, this is funny. I love it. And then, yeah, as you mentioned, like, if I see or hear anything unusual, I have to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one big rule of the live stream. His money depends on following that rule.
And he had to take steps against himself because he knows himself so well. He takes the spark plugs out of his car and throws them in the woods.
Locks himself into the house and then throws the key away. Which I was like, how is he planning on leaving in the morning after the stream when he does that? But I mean, we see him, can't go down there and retrieve it. But it's like, okay. So there was a plan there.
He really didn't need to do that. I mean, he took a different route outside the house. It's much
a couple times. Yeah. But he's definitely a social media entrepreneur. Like, the merch hustle is strong. Composing the original score for his streams and then selling it on iTunes, that honestly, I'm impressed. I was like, he knows what he's doing. The hustle is real.
He knows what he's doing. People should take note and follow along.
Mm-hmm. It's like, that's impressive. As much as he's supposed to be like a kind of parody, caricature, stupid guy, like, I was like, honestly, that's really ingenious. Like, that's a lot of talent.
I love that his mom made him a paranormal kit with holy water, crucifix, salt, garlic, and a silver dagger, plus a peanut butter sandwich.
And a PB&J, yeah.
Yep, gotta have that.
Yeah. Death Manor is where he goes. The most haunted house in America. That's not too famous for me to film in.
Yeah, not too famous for you to film in. The Pratt House, basically, is what it's also called. And he starts his whole video by holding up this t-shirt that says, basically acts like it's
like a found footage kind of thing.
He went missing in 2022 and this is the only footage that was found. And yes, he does mention it's not too famous for him to film in. And my thought was, just because you can doesn't mean you should, Dr. Ian Malcolm.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of really cool, the spark plugs and stuff. I was like, well, I was thinking, I was like trying to like all those, because I've seen so many horror movies at this point, you know, you're like, all right, what are the little things that are at the beginning of the movie that are definitely going to come back? What are the foreshadowing? What are the seeds that are being planted? So I was like, he's going to forget about doing that and then try to escape in his car. But no, he immediately went to the woods to find the spark plugs. They came back into play in a way, which was fun. But yeah, but I was thinking, like, his setup, I was like, honestly, as much as, like I said, he's supposed to be a goofy kind of caricature, it's quite the setup. I was like, he's got a sensor on his watch that switches from blog camera to POV GoPro by flicking his wrist. I was like, that's a super cool idea.
Yeah, he's got good tech.
And then having, like, it, like, hardwired into the system to where, like, he's got these infrared cameras set up, and if, like, something sets off the motion detector or they pick up something, it automatically cuts away to that in the stream.
Yeah.
Like, it's brilliant.
He knows what he's doing. That is never up for debate when it comes to the technological part of this live stream. Like, he understands gear. He understands what he needs to do, keeping his viewers entertained. And you know that he wants to rebuild his audience because he's lost a lot of viewers, which we learn about one of the things a little bit later.
Yeah, it's the most cinematic experience in live streaming you're ever going to get. I mean, he held to that promise, I would say, for sure. Yeah, he's talking a little bit like it's very, I apologized for that thing, and I didn't mean anybody to get hurt. And it's like very like hinted at. You don't learn until more like the end of the movie exactly what happened. But, I was like, all right, I'm interested to learn about this thing that, as he says, got him banned from the internet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we talked about, you mentioned his reactions to
all
everything.
the time.
And I just was like, this Joseph Winter, like the actor, director, I was like, this dude's funny. I was like, I'm not familiar with him at all before this. I don't think I've seen anything.
Oh, nothing.
Like,
me either.
But it's like, but I need to pay attention to this guy. And of course, I do the thing. I go on like IMDb and look up. And like, really, the only other thing he's been like on any like profiled thing that he did is like he was a segment on on VHS 99.
Oh, okay.
Which I haven't seen, but like they've done like those VHS movies, which are a lot of these different found footage kind of compilations.
Oh, yeah.
Different directors throw in like, short. It's like a collection of short horror films that are all found footage kind of things.
Yeah.
And, like, he's one of those. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like this seems to be a kind of a niche for him that he's good at.
I'd like to see what else he can do.
Yeah.
Because I think he did really well with this. He was ridiculous. Like, I wasn't sure if I should root for him. Despite having all the technology, he was ridiculous.
Yeah.
He was quite ridiculous. I think that's the only word that actually fits it.
Yeah. But yeah, just a lot of the things he was saying, because again, he's trying to like censor himself and not curse on stream. And so he sees like the like knife, like cleaver up there. Judas Priest. I was like, as an exclamation, that's fun. I don't know if I've heard that used very often, but I like it.
That is something that, well, I've heard it. It's a common exclamation in Down East Maine.
Did the band come first, or was the band named after people saying that?
I don't know.
I've only ever heard it from the band.
Nope.
So.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, the master bedroom. There was a lot of flies in there, and we don't really do much with that. But I was like, not a good sign. Yeah, and then just looking for all the little things, like I said, that I assume will be coming back. So I'm like, every little thing that he focuses on in this first part of the movie, I'm like, all right, well, that window, clearly important. I was like, keeps talking about all the ghost kids and dead kids. I was like, that's got to come back in some way, which we got some fun stuff from that. And then just like hearing him talk. Again, so much of the dialogue, if you want to call it that, again, it's not really between, it's between him and
himself,
his commenters,
yeah,
and him just kind of talking about things. But he's setting up the EMPs, but he keeps calling them EVPs. They're even like,
yeah,
on the wheel, it's written EVPs, and he's like, I was like, EVPs? That's a different thing. That's executive vice president.
Yes, that takes me to a completely different type of thing.
But then what even follows it up with is like, he's so clueless, because he goes, yeah, EVPs, it stands for electronic moist phenomenon. I was like, so you even know that there's supposed to be an M there, even though that's not what that is. It's like, but it's this running gag of him calling things the wrong things throughout the movie, which is funny. It's like, because he's pretending like he knows what he's doing, but like he's so out of his element.
Yeah, I didn't think he really wanted to do this. I think he knew he had to do it.
He was desperate, yeah.
Yeah, he's desperate. And I think it came across in what he was doing, especially later on. As things continue to escalate, he was very unnerved and freaked out. And you could just tell, it's like, yeah, I think he'd rather be anywhere else. But he's really trying to do this because he doesn't want to lose his sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's trying to get it all back.
Awaken thunder.
Yes, feel the wrath. Oh wait, no, that's him. His fans are called Wrathies. Yeah. I was thinking that there might be some sort of other athlete that might want to start calling her fans the Wrathies. I don't know. Maybe not.
I think the first line of the movie that actually made me cackle out loud, and I needed a moment to like pause the movie, laugh, take the note, is whenever he's trying to like provoke the spirits and he goes back to like the little like bedroom, and his Red Rover, send dead babies right over. That was the one for me that I was like, okay, that's what we're doing. That's the funniest shit I've heard in so long. That's amazing. Bravo. Laughed so hard. But yeah, great stuff. So then the viewers, I guess the people on the stream have access to all the cameras too, not just whatever is showing.
I think so, because they were trying to get his attention at one point to let him know there was something outside the door.
Yeah, because
he wasn't paying. He wasn't paying attention.
The ghostly entity that's on the hall camera, and after he doesn't believe him at first. He thinks, oh, they're just trying to like troll me and somebody Photoshop something. But then he goes back and on his own feed looks back at it and freaks out. Goes to hide in the closet in the safe room. But the rules say he has to investigate.
Yes.
So
he has to do it. His viewers do like to heckle him. They pick at him a lot.
Yeah, I feel like it's a great commentary on like social media and streaming and stuff, where like a huge part of that audience was people like hate watching, being like, oh, this fucking idiot's live streaming again, like let's see how much like we control him and how much shit we can throw at him while he's doing this and make it difficult for him. Like that's not surprising. Like that's people online suck a lot.
People online can be incredibly judgmental, but sometimes they're judgmental for a good reason.
Mm-hmm.
And they can get shit shut down, basically.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be. I don't think it needed to be in this case with him. I think he was ridiculous, and I understand why people would want to follow him, because he's hilarious.
Yeah.
He screams at every other thing. I mean, honestly, I could have made a drinking game out of the screaming.
Oh, God.
He could be drunk in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's got to go investigate. So that's when he throws on the cross. The necklace, like a Christmas necklace that his mom gave him. In that care package of useful items that you mentioned, what those all were. The garlic, too.
Yeah, garlic sucks, I think. I don't think garlic works.
Garlic is bullshit. It's a great line, too. But yeah, as I'm watching him, like, after, like, that moment where he's, like, the camera panning, like, going up and down the hallways, and, like, there's different sounds, I was like, I don't even believe in ghosts. Like, at all. And I would still never do this.
No! You're not going to find Pake and I going to a haunted house, spending the night, and tracking what's going on. It's not going to happen.
It's like, yeah, It's just, that doesn't sound fun.
I loved his little spinny wheel, and the first thing went to seance, and then he called it an exorchance, or a shauno...
The shaunercism, yeah.
Yeah. I don't quite know how that works, but...
Yeah. And yeah, so then he's hearing, like, the ghost, which... It's funny because in my notes, I'm just going... I didn't even, like, compile them characters and stuff, because it was like, yeah, we're just going to go chronologically with how I took my notes today. So it's funny, like, on a first watch, just live noting this thing, to where I'm like, at first he thinks it's a ghost, but actually it's just a fan that showed up at his location, not knowing, like, actually the first thing was really real, and she really was a ghost the whole time, which is a great twist. Really great. Loved that. But at least to him, he's like, oh my god, crazy, aggressive ghost, and then what it seems like then after that is, yeah, that a super fan found the location he was in and tracked him down and showed up, which I was like, in that moment, I was like, that's not cool. You don't do that. But he was so scared that any human interaction is welcome. So he's like, okay, thank you.
He does try to get her to leave, though, but the fans want him to keep her around.
Yeah, he was supposed to stay alone, but, I mean, what chat says goes. And the poll dictates that Chrissy stays.
Yep, and so
you have to abide by polls all the time. We all love polls. So much.
Yes.
All the time.
Let's poll... You know what, Pake? Let's take a poll to find out if we should do a poll next episode.
All right. We love polls. But then, yeah, like, he's like, you know what? That's fine. We can strap a GoPro to her head, and we've got some extra angles. We can, like, look at stuff. And again, the subtle little thing of them going out in the hallway and him grabbing her and pushing her out in front of him. I was like, that's so funny.
He's so afraid.
And then she keeps, like, disappearing and popping back up and, like, scaring him and, like, not doing what he says and kind of doing stuff. To where he, before the night ends, I'm going to kill Christy.
Well, you might. And her name isn't Christy, it's Chrissy.
Yeah, but that's what he said. He said Christy. In that quote.
Her name is not Chrissy either.
He's not even that, yeah.
No.
And then after that, the secret stairway to a hidden cellar. That's not sketchy at all.
No, and you should definitely go down into it. It's been blocked off, and it's got this sign
of course,
on it.
She's the one that noticed it, because she's trying to get him down there. She wants him to find the poems. She wants to... That's the whole point. Because there's no treasure, no money, no nothing he's kind of hoping for. It's just Mildred's poems. And even before I knew that Chrissy equals Mildred, I was like, man, he keeps putting down her poems and her passion the way that he is. Like, every chance he gets, he's like, man, these suck. I was like, she's definitely going to haunt murder your ass if you keep talking shit about her poems in her house.
Yeah, you are in so much trouble. You do not even know how much trouble you're in for your commentary.
Yeah. And then she convinces him to, like, spin the wheel again, and then it's like, oh, we're going to do the EVPs. And the Ouija board, or the spirit board.
The spirit board, yeah.
At the same time. And I just love his, like, kind of chant with his Ouija board. Spirits of this house. We want to talk to the children spirits of this house, not the slendery thing.
Because he kind of knows that some shit is going on at that point.
Yeah.
He definitely does not want to be friends with anything.
Yeah, but it was during that spirit board scene that I immediately was like, and the reveal didn't take much longer after that, but I was like, okay, something about Chrissy is very off, very unsettling. I was like, she is sus. Like, there is something that has not been said, and yeah, it didn't take long at all after that, because, yeah, but it was an unexpected turn, because I was like, what's going to happen with... It's like, she's very suspicious. But, yeah, it turns out, at first, again, I like the twists, like, bait and switch with stuff, because then he's like, wait, you didn't just show up here, you have been here, you were already here, waiting on me to get here, which is true. But again, really just thinking like, oh, a fan that even took to the point of finding out where he was going to be before he even got there and was hiding and waiting for him, which is extra creepy. But then it gets even creepier when she goes like vampire mode on him and bites his neck.
She's a stalker.
And then he retaliates to that by staking her right in the neck and killing her. Or did he? He did say he was going to, like I said, before the night ends, right?
At that point, it was really too late.
Yeah.
Because he'd already had his moment with Chrissy with the spirit board.
Yeah. She got him to say the Latin, which basically sells his soul over to her.
And I love the way that his fans interact with him by sending him videos of things. And so you get to see what's going on in that house. And they're actually talking to him. Yeah, that was fun. I love it. Like, it's so fun.
Yeah. But yeah, so he has an out at this point after stabbing to him a fan in the neck and killing her. He's like, okay, now I have to leave. So I'm going to leave and go into town and turn myself into the cops. So let me get out of here. But then when he goes back out in the hallway, and the body's gone. Fucking uh-oh.
Yep.
And then just the creepy things that happen. And the way, again, funny, the way he just keeps racing back to the safe room. Quote unquote.
Well, it's the only room that no one had ever felt any sort of presence in before. Because he's not the first person to do this.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the way he just anything happens and he and then runs right back to that room and into the closet. Like, it's just become what he does, which is so funny. And then one of his fans, which is some young kid, who put in the work. So smart kid, put in the work, and he realized that the drawing that was on the closet wall was a Hamsa to ward off the evil spirits, and then he destroyed it. And so this kid is basically like, yeah, big fan, sorry you're gonna die.
Yep.
Which is great.
Not long after, Mildred, what was her fascination with shoving her friggin' finger up his nose?
I know. I was like, there's some great shots, like the infrared camera picks up the hanging woman, picks up Mildred hanging in the corner, but the GoPro doesn't, which was really interesting. Also, I guess you can make a ghost go tumbling down the stairs, so that's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do that. This movie proves things that I had not previously known about. She
was a lot more physical, less ethereal as a ghost than you would be led to think. But yeah, the fingernail in the nose. I was like, oh, no thanks. I'm out.
She does it twice.
Yeah. It's like just the nose fingering repeatedly. Why? Why does she want to do that?
I don't know.
But yeah, Chrissy is Mildred. Mildred is Chrissy. What a twist! I
love that he yelled, "I'm not going back upstairs," and then he goes back up there anyway.
Yeah, it was like, I'm not going back up there, and then, oh shit, there's Corner Man. Back upstairs we go. Don't want to deal with him either. Let's go back upstairs, because then he's like, I guess I can't get the key, which that was a cool thing, because the key that he threw down there was the key to the padlock to open the front door, and it had been replaced with the key to the little lockbox that he had found in the cellar.
That he had taken because it probably has money in it.
Right. No, it just had her finger in it. And a picture of Mildred, who then that's how he puts together, wait, that's Chrissy.
Chrissy is Mildred, Mildred is Chrissy.
Yep. So he can't go out the front door, that key's gone. So we'll go out the second floor window, which leads to him going back into that room, the kids' room that window is in, and then we get Ghost Baby under the sheet gag, which was fucking fantastic. So good. Loved it. And not even like a funny moment, but like it was legitimately like a good horror moment in the movie that I was like, yes.
There were a lot of those little moments.
Yes. And that's what I was looking for. Like, I love a good like balance. I want a movie like this. It was like, when it's funny, but also like they don't pull punches on the horror and the gore and the scary things. Like it also I want jump scares that are effective and jokes that are also going to make me laugh. I want both.
That's all you want.
Yeah, I'm happy.
It's that simple. But you know what? I have to tell you that I would pick to watch Tucker and Dale again first.
Yeah, I mean, Tucker and Dale is amazing. One of the best movies ever. But yeah, so we get the actual horror moment of like the baby under the sheet, and then they immediately follow it up with him running from it, forgetting that he'd just tied a rope around the bed frame. And so you get him getting to the end of his rope and it yanking him back onto the floor, which was then funny. So you get like comedy, horror, bam, bam, like back to back, which is great. And back to the safe room closet we go.
Wherever he can hide away from anything. He doesn't want to leave the room. He just wants the cops to come. He just doesn't want to be dealing with anything else. And yet he's faced with this over and over again. And then he gets another video.
Deus Ex Chatina. People in the chat. A lab professor from Brown University.
Says, those words were Latin, and they mean, I give thee my soul and forfeit my will.
But yeah, because it's like, so this like lab professor is watching the stream with her kids.
Good family entertainment.
Of course. I mean, he's supposed to be keeping it family friendly. The sponsors want him to. Don't want to be cursing and all that shoot. Yeah, I love that she like looks up and is like, Chrissy, Mildry. Yeah, basically got him to forfeit his soul to her. Yeah, and then this like random little kid posits the theory that all the ghosts in the house are people that she's also done this to. And it's like, thanks for the exposition, random girl.
And it says Mildred messes with minds and she may make you kill yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she doesn't, that isn't what we saw, but she does bite him in a place that probably...
Yeah. It was a weird gag. It was weird. But it got him moving right out the second story window, finally, injuring his leg on impact. So I guess the safe room really wasn't as safe as he thought it was going to be. And yeah, so he's like, messes up his leg. At first I was like, it's broken, but then he gets up and he's still running around and moving on it. He does say later, but it's definitely broken. So adrenaline either way. But I was like, he's like, well, fix it up, clean it. And he's like, okay, I got my first aid. And I was like, your first aid is a bottle of hand sanitizer and a Q-tip? Oh, and duct tape. Can't forget the duct tape.
It was a very tiny first aid kit. It kind of looked like a wallet.
Yeah.
What first aid items can you put in a wallet? Not many.
No. And then, we get a couple more clues on what he did to get in hot water on the internet, whatever. Whereas he's like, he still doesn't spell it right out at first, but he's just like, I didn't know he was sick. He signed a waiver. I'm not racist. I would never hurt anyone on purpose. I'm like, what happened? I'm curious. And then, so he goes outside, tries to go to the spark plugs, like I mentioned, and then my only note is, what the actual fucking fuck was that?
Well, he also meets that great police officer.
He runs into Gollum out there. God dang. It was terrifying, honestly. I was like, he found the spark plugs and a horrifying creature. And then, the cop out there. Which did you immediately know who that was? Yeah. Because I was like, we saw the picture that he showed of the corner man.
Absolutely.
With the mustache. It's like, he showed a picture of that guy. That's who that is. And then you see, and sometimes he doesn't even mention the chat that pops up at the bottom corner of the screen, but there was a moment where that picture, that old-timey picture, the mustache, and like a little chat like somebody posts is like, it's the guy from the picture. And like he doesn't even, so if you do pay attention to like what chat is saying during the movie, sometimes you'll see something. He didn't even like mention it, but it's like, people that are watching this stream are onto things better than he is most of the time, I think.
He doesn't really have a clue what's going on most of the time. He's running for his life most of the time.
He kicks the cop ghost corner man in the crotch and calls him a mother frogger. I was like, I guess you're still trying to keep from getting demonetized even while struggling for life.
Yes. Yes.
And then
priorities.
Beef Cam is too funny. Legitimately too funny.
When he was getting into the car and I saw the Slim Jim, because that's what it kind of, it's like a beef stick on the floor, I thought that's going to come into play somehow. How's it going to do it? And then when he stuck the GoPro to it, I'm just, that was it. But my personal favorite was when he had the potato gun.
Tater gun.
And he puts the bobblehead in it and uses that as the weapon.
It was that was fun. It was a fun sequence. It really was. I love him getting another video from this older lady, a former nanny in the house. And she has the same thought that the boy from earlier had, but he didn't say it as clearly and out loud. And again, I had to laugh. It was like, she's explaining the Hamsa and everything, and then you hear the other person's like, he destroyed the Hamsa, Grandma, and she just goes, oh shit, he's gonna die.
Well, let this be a lesson to you kids. Do not say Latin phrases you don't know while using a Ouija board.
And then him trying to speed up the playback speed on her video to get to the fucking point. Tell me what I need to do. Which is funny. And then this tater gun sequence, which
that was great.
In that kerfuffle, his tablet is destroyed. So at least until he can get back inside and to his laptop and his backup tablet, no more access to the other cameras or the audience. There's a period of time he's truly on his own.
Well, he decides that he wants to leave a note, and so he digs through Mildred's journal, and that's where he finds this piece of paper that turns out to be a little bit helpful, talking about the unholy hand of power.
Yeah.
He wants to demonetize this bitch.
Yeah, let's demonetize this bitch. Yeah, because he's going to turn on YouTuber scumbag mode. Mildred is like him, starved for attention and followers, and that's the only power she craves. And it's a weird logic that I'm only in movies does it make sense, but where he's like, if I can claim ownership to her ritual, I can copy strike her power for himself, which that's not an actual term at all. Copy strike is not a thing. It's copyright strike. But again, he's been doing that all movie, using incorrect terms and calling things
so it was
that they
nothing
aren't.
new.
So it's Yeah, it's just a running gag. It's like, it's a copy strike.
It's his own language, and at this point in the movie, you're just understanding what he means, even if he doesn't say it clearly.
Yeah.
You just know that that's what it is.
Yeah.
I wondered at that point, does he realize that this could go terribly wrong? He could be selling his soul to the devil, and yes, he could take her power, but he may end up with all the other issues, like the ghosts in the house.
Right. Yeah, it's just whatever he could do, I guess, to try to survive her. And just feels like I gotta take her down. She's been doing this to all these people, and he's got this hero complex. He's got to be a hero. Because that's the thing, after what he did and got, canceled online, everybody hates him, and so he's like, how do I redeem myself? Not just do another stream, but what if I'm a hero? What if I save, end this ghost's reign and all this? So that's where his mind's at. Goes back in, gets silver dagger on a stick, hypodermic needle full of holy water, the cleaver from earlier. It's a solid loadout, honestly. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. But some things just don't work.
Garlic is bullshit. And now Cornerman has your spear and your camera.
Yeah.
But there's so many things. Yeah, he talks about what happened. What we finally get the reveal on, like, the full, like, controversy. As one of his videos was, which again, it's based off of real life things that have happened. But yeah, him paying a homeless man to fight him because he seemed really big and strong. He thought he was going to get his ass kicked, and then didn't realize he ended up really hurting this guy. And then also there was, like, we saw at the beginning of the movie, like, kind of like a little trailer of, like, other videos that he's made of him doing stupid stunts and stuff, and one of them was getting smuggled across the Mexican border in a car. And he's like, and I realized that one's, like, culturally insensitive and racist. And then again, the dark humor, the, like, edgy humor that I love. Laugh so hard, so fun. I'd like to dedicate this stream to the blacks and Mexicans. I was like, God damn it, Sean. You're so close. You were almost there.
Like, what are you even? Why would you say all of the things you just said?
So funny. And then, him walking back into the kids' room and seeing the little boy sitting there on the bed. And I just like, hey, little guy. Is like, oh, you're horrifying. Never mind. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
We're good.
Very, like, deformed, and were like two of them. And then there were the two clown dolls that were sitting on the thing.
Yeah.
So there's only one earlier. And I'm like, he's trying to get people at that time to look up how much it was worth on eBay, because he's, again, all about money.
Yeah. And another great line is after, like, seeing that creepy kid. Are you going to face me yourself, or just send your child army after me like a freaking PewDiePie? Which, niche, but hilarious reference. So funny.
Well, PewDiePie was like the #1 YouTube streamer for
a long time. And then he got into a lot of hot water himself for supposed, like, anti-Semitic stuff and a lot of stuff. And his rabid fan base of, let's be honest, a lot of tween and teen kids that, like, when people would talk crap about PewDiePie, like, he still had a very loyal and rabid fan base. And so it's a fun, that they would go on and just burn things to the ground on people that had bad stuff to say about him and were trying to point out what he, things that he had done. He still had a very loyal fan base. So it's the line of just like, send your child army after me like freaking PewDiePie is such a line that I just like, it's like, I don't know how many people get that one, because that's a niche. If you were like, I mean, I guess it was enough of a story that, like, it hit national headlines to some point.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember I used to watch PewDiePie stream and stuff on YouTube back in the day. So it's like, I was in that. And so it's like, so what a reference. I wasn't ready for that. That's great.
Were you a member of his child army?
No, I was never that. Not too much of a PewDiePie bro, but, PewDiePie! Yeah, no, but I watched some of his stuff. So it was a great reference. And then just stupid things that are so funny. Him arguing with Mildred while she's, like, in the ceiling, whatever. Come get me. No, you come and get me. Opposite.
I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's campy. It's kind of Evil Dead-ish, honestly.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the words on top of the spirit board.
Yeah.
It was an Evil Dead reference right away.
Of course.
Yeah,
I love when he yells at her and says, "No, Mildred, I am the influencer."
Yes. With the whiteout contacts.
Yeah,
wearing
that was...
there. Those are difficult to see out of a little bit. I've never worn them myself, but I know quite a few people who have. Working in the haunted houses and stuff. I never... Because I just don't wear glasses or contacts or anything anyway, so it's like a feeling that I'm not used to, and I don't want. I did was like, nah, I think I'm good. But no, we had a few character actors and stuff in the haunted houses that could rock those whiteout contacts. They look cool, but then they would always be like, yeah, I can't see much. Everything's just kind of blurry. And then while he kind of wakes up in that bathtub, he's been taken over. At least she's trying to, and then he's able to snap back to himself, and then that's when the ghost in the bathtub arises up after, my name is Aida Bathtoya. You ate my eye. Prepare to die.
Oh, that was so gross.
Yeah.
And he's just smiling through it. So he injects holy water into her eye, shuts that shit down, and puts a cleaver to Mildred's head and gives her a cam and calls her Mildred from now on.
Yeah, put a GoPro on the ghost haunting you. That is a new and modern technique that I haven't seen before. So
it is.
Bravo. I'll take it.
It is.
Also, he really wasn't kidding when he said he can fix any problem with duct tape.
I was wondering how that was going to work exactly, because I couldn't imagine that duct tape was going to keep her held to the ground.
Just
like onto the floor. Like
everything with duct tape. And then, she breaks free. And then it's a little much. I will say I like gory horror, but I was like, okay, it's a little much for me. It was like more nose fingering and piss boarding. Can we not?
I did wonder how you were going to react to that when that happened.
Like, I don't need that. Yeah, because he said the incantation. Why didn't it work? He forgot the first important part that old Nanny said. The sacrifice of flesh. That's what he remembers. In the box, he saw that Mildred had cut off one of her fingers for her to do this thing, so once he remembers that, he knows what he's got to do, and he has a bloody victory. Well, if we would call it victory. He had a victory. He also gained a handful of disgustingly creepy new followers.
He did.
Through doing that, so...
I'm wondering if they're going to be profitable.
Maybe, I don't know. Because that's all we get, so who knows?
Yeah. Didn't you love that he had his own triumphant music, too? Like, he had that little tape recorder playing whenever he went anywhere.
We did it! We beat this house!
Like, speak too soon. Yeah, you definitely spoke too soon, buddy. Thanks all the fans, and you think it's over. And then he has his new friends.
Yep. I mean, he knows what that, unholy hand incantation stuff was supposed to do. It wasn't just you defeated the person who had the hold. It was you now have control of the beings and souls of the ghosts in the house. That's what it is.
Yep.
So it's left open-ended on purpose. We don't know, because you think they killed him or something, but maybe not. Maybe they follow him. And how literally is that, to where they just haunt him forever now from this point? What's going to be? Who knows?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I just try to picture, what it was like for Joseph Winter to be starring in this movie, but also doing all of these other parts involved with the movie.
Sure, it's honestly probably not too hard to direct yourself. Hey, Joseph, go do this thing. Okay, got it. Maybe try it this way. All right, let me do that.
Well, because it's really just it's a single perspective thing. We're talking about movies like Wreck, Blair Witch, those movies that are just that one perspective of one person at a time most of the time. And I don't know. I think you have a lot invested.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're limited to, like, viewpoints and shots and stuff, that, like, everything that you see and everything that's included has to be important, and you have to make sure that you're able to show things in the right way because you only got so much to go through.
Yeah. He had to do a lot of improv because in order to make a live stream come across as being an authentic thing, he couldn't just be using a script because it just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
So some of that was definitely improv.
So I feel like some of those really great lines that I really loved were probably just his sense of humor. I could probably just him just saying something off the top of his head.
Yeah. I mean, no, Mildred, I am the influencer. All these ridiculous things. There were a lot of little one-liners that were funny. How are you, my spiritual children? That was one of Chrissy's lines. Just ridiculous. Are you fansplaining to me right now? I know what I'm doing. And it's just like, do you though? Do you really? I don't think so. And then he finds Mildred's journal and he's like, are we about to uncover the secret of this house? Like, I don't know.
Trying to bring her in, trying to, like, get her attention by reading some of the poems. And the way he just snarkily to the camera, actually, some of these are pretty good. Not.
You need to be a little nicer to Mildred if you want her to come out and play. Do you have any other notes?
I don't. That's it.
Let me see if I have anything. You already mentioned that the practical effects, they did things really practically. You know, the camera angles and tricks and prosthetics and puppetry and all of that is what they did.
Yeah. And some of those, like, foam monsters in certain shots, you can tell. Like, after he kills the thing in the bathtub, it's very much just like, yeah, like, it's a foam, like, thing. Or even, like, the cop after it's, like, falling down the, like, pool on him. But even though it's low budget and it's, like, foam props, it doesn't really bother me. It doesn't really even take me out because I'm just like, I'm impressed by the work that he put into this.
Yeah. I mean, they were very invested. Him and his wife were 100% all in wanting to do this. They had such a limited budget and they wanted to make sure that they got the most out of everything that they were doing. So they made it work. I think it was a success. Is it my favorite movie that we've ever done? No. Was it fun? Yes. It definitely was fun.
For sure. Well, there goes the feedback phone. So
hi.
maybe we can see what any listeners had to say about this one and they went and checked it out. Let's see. All right, we've got one piece of feedback this week coming through for us, as always, lately. Of course, Catherine's got some thoughts on Deadstream here, so I'll go ahead and read hers out. Catherine says, I thought this was my first watch until Chrissy/Mildred showed up, and I remembered there was something twisty about her. But somehow I still forgot every other detail in Deadstream. I'm not sure why, because this was a fun watch. I was shocked to find myself humming along to a grown man peeing in a bucket. I loved all the fan input, especially the expository videos that pretty much concluded that he was screwed. I'm still trying to figure out my feelings about the finger up the nose. So many times. Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of decided that we didn't like it, so I'm sure, Catherine, you're probably on the same side as we are. Well, if you'd like to submit feedback, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Run For Your Lives Podcast, or you can email us at runforyourlivespodcast@gmail.com. You can go to runforyourlivespodcast.com for all the links you'll ever need. If you're enjoying the show, tell your friends. We're available on all the podcast players, including Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Give us a review on Apple Podcasts, as that is the best way to share the love and get us out there even more. We really appreciate it.
We do indeed. Of course, speaking of sharing the love, and indeed, got some shout-outs to give to the Podcastica universe around us and beyond. Of course, good things coming up. I'm going to go ahead and throw out again, in case you missed it a couple weeks ago, my other podcast, Strange Indeed. Haven't said this in forever. It feels like. But yeah, the final season of You on Netflix is coming soon. As you're hearing this, not this month, but close to it, in April. So yeah, it's coming back, final season, You, over on Netflix, and so me and Rima will be back over on the Strange Indeed feed, the Strange In feed, covering that show and having a good time with that finale, and then we'll definitely, I think, try to hit up some new Black Mirror soon as well. That comes back even before You, but we may hold off until after, which, with that show, it's kind of like, watch it, enjoy it, and then we'll break them down. They're all like little movies anyway, so we hold off on that one a little bit. It's cool, but yeah, definitely excited to do Black Mirror and You in the near future and get back with Rima. So, yay! But also, aside from that, lots of great stuff always going on at Podcastica. Of course, the cast of us, I say it like every week, but gearing up, getting ready for The Last of Us Season 2, but that's another April release coming up very soon. And so you can definitely get ready for that with them. And while they're getting ready, they're still releasing their episodes with their Walking Dead rewatch coverage. So this week you can check out Season 4, Episode 12, still the rewatch episode of that one. Also, Yellow Jackets WTF running with Season 3 of Yellow Jackets. So they're at Episode 8 this week is released. So you can check out the coverage of that over there. Wendy, Penny, and Jason on that one. They also just wrapped up the Cobra Kai coverage over on Cobra Kai Cast as part of Podcastica. Season 6, Episode 15, Ex-Degenerate. That's it. That's a wrap on the series of Cobra Kai. I wonder if they're going to cover the new Karate Kid movie when it comes out, because it's Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio together. It's interesting. So,
it's kind of the merging of both worlds, right?
Yeah, so I'm very intrigued by it. So I don't know if they're going to cover it, but I wonder. I could see them doing that, so I'm going to have to talk to them about that. But yeah, just a random thought while I'm talking about Cobra Kai stuff. So yeah, maybe they will. So maybe more coming on that podcast. I don't know. Stay tuned. Also, Wheel of Time is running Season 3 right now over on Amazon Prime. Greg and Veronica covering that right now as well. The first 4 episodes up. You can go check out that coverage. And then The White Lotus. It's a lot of Season 3s going on right now. Also, Invincible just wrapped Season 3. But yeah, White Lotus is in Season 3 on HBO Max. So Jenny, Randy, and Jason are covering that as well at Episode 6 this week. And as far as not current running shows, Still Slaying, still kicking. Penny and Kara over there doing incredible work with the Buffy coverage on Still Slaying. So they are covering Season 4, Episode 6 there. So yeah, definitely check that out as well if you are a Buffy fan. But outside of Podcastica, like I said, there's a beyond. We've got some other friends doing great stuff with their networks. Of course, TV Podcast Industries, working on Daredevil, Born Again over on Disney Plus, and I'm loving it so much. They it was, at least it was a surprise to me. I don't know if anybody else was expecting it. They dropped 2 new episodes this week, so that was really cool. I remember playing some video games with Daphne and some other friends with the Buffalo crew Tuesday night and being like, oh, I gotta watch Daredevil when I get off here, and then getting on Disney Plus after we were done, and I was like, and there's 2 episodes, yay. Did not see that coming. I was excited. And 2 very different but very cool episodes, so definitely, if you're not watching Daredevil, get on it because it's incredible, but then definitely check out TV Podcast Industries coverage of it, as well as Panels to Pixels, covering Daredevil, Born Again, as well. And that is on the Pirate Core Entertainment Network, which our good friend Mark heads up, so he'll be doing that coverage there. But also on that network, Becky and Mandy are covering the HBO Max series, The Pit. So if you're watching that, medical drama goodness, you can definitely check out their coverage over on the Pirate Core Entertainment Network. But lastly, I say this kind of jokingly every week again, but if you want to hear more of me and Daphne, and as I mentioned, our Buffalo crew, the Jeff and Jerry, the Buffalo podcast, we're still having a lot of fun with that, doing ridiculous stuff, playing fun games, making each other laugh. Daphne want to cry. Whatever we can do. But it's a fun time. We have a blast over there. So definitely check that out at the buffalopodcast.com. You can get the links and stuff. Same spiel Daphne gave you earlier about this one. Find all the stuff at that website. So yeah, a lot of good stuff for you to check out. And then when you're done listening to all those podcasts, and I'm going to go ahead and say, just by you listening to this, you've signed a contract and you promised me you're going to go listen to all those podcasts. So good job. Thank you. You're great. And then when you're done with all that, you can come back here next week to Run for Your Lives, and we'll have something fresh and fun and new for you. Daphne, what are we doing next week?
So next week, we have the following. A pitch designer and an advertising consultant are forced to navigate their unexpected chemistry when they are mistaken for a couple by a masked serial killer who targets romantic pairs on Valentine's Day. They must fight for survival and outwit the elusive killer before their first date becomes their last. We are discussing Josh Rubin's 2025 film, Heart Eyes.
No problem. Sounds great. It's a fun one for sure. Newer movie, and yeah, definitely check it out. That's a great one. Give it a view. Give us some thoughts. We'll read them, play them, whatever on next week's podcast. So check it out.
Yeah, it's a new one, and by new I mean like February. So it's pretty awesome. It came out at just the right time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's out streaming now. We could have waited till Valentine's to do it. I'm like, I don't want to wait that long, so we'll just do it now. But yeah, I went and saw it. It was released around Valentine's, obviously. But I went and saw it opening weekend because I love Josh Rubin, so I'm going to go see his project and see his movie, and it was great. But yeah.
And with that, we've reached the end of another terrifying episode. Thanks everyone for listening. I'm Daphne.
And I'm Pake.
And if you have to run, you better run for your lives.
Bye-bye.